Okay guys, welcome back. So episode 2 of our update on the swing journey.
Yes.
Matty. Last time we had Scott Cowx in with us. We kind of filmed the first sort of installment in this little mini series of us trying to do a little bit of work in our games.
Yes.
Which we have been doing.
We've been doing a lot of work.
Kudos to both of us.
Yeah, I would say I've seen you practicing like most days.
Yep.
I practice most days. Try to keep you guys updated on Instagram with little bits of progress here and there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think for you guys, you'll see this segment every probably other week for the next couple of months.
Yep.
But to see more, if you want to see more frequent, posts about it, and you want to ask some questions of Matty about maybe there's something that kind of you guys see that's similar to what Matt or myself are working on.
And lots of people, you must have gotten lots too,
Lots
but I got
well.
lots of DMs which I tried to answer. So yeah, in between, if you guys want to follow us both on Instagram, ask questions.
Definitely.
I try to post when I'm practicing. If I feel I made a bit of progress, I'll post something usually.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're going to need to...
I don't want to post repeats, but...
Yeah, every day the same sort of thing. So we wanted to kind of, just share with you guys a little bit of kind of how things are going. I think
2 weeks in, right?
I think we're both feeling like, a couple of weeks in, we're both feeling pretty decent about making some progress.
I know I've made some progress for sure.
Yeah.
It's been a very difficult change, that's for sure. But I see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. I've as I said to you, like it's not like I come in and hit 100 balls all perfect. Yeah. But there's 5 or 6 in there where you look up and you're like, ooh, wow, that was something.
Yeah. I would say I feel pretty much the same. If while I'm warming up, I can still feel some of the things I'm fighting against, but as I kind of get into the flow of the whole thing, I'm just trying to improve the ratio of good reps to bad reps. That's 100%. Ultimately what it is. If we went and played golf, today, like we are going to next week, I think we would probably both be fairly confident our old patterns would still be the dominant patterns.
I think if you weren't thinking too much, which you can't do on the course, I think the swing would look 75% like it looked a month ago, at least for me. I know that. I haven't ingrained it, but we're really early on in the process.
Very early.
So what we want to do today is we're both going to do it. Talk about how we both warm up, talk about what drills we're doing. We've got a nice little close-up cam. We're both going to get you some angles that you probably can't get normally from the side angle. Some close-ups of positions. I know you've got a few positions that Cowx was talking to you about the other day, so why don't you get started?
Okay.
Let's talk about how you warm up, first of all, and how that relates to what you're working on.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you to hit some shots and kind of just see where you're at.
Love it.
Okay, so starting with a little bit of smart ball work.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us what's that feel? Obviously, we talked about you trying to get a little bit more depth on the downswing. What's that smart ball helping with?
So I kind of start off with 2 main swing training aids. One, smart ball. It's something that always helps me just keep better connection between arms and body. And as I specifically work on my pivot, I would call my first 20 reps my priming reps. So I want to prime the session for the intent of what I'm trying to get out of it.
Okay.
So that's movement pattern stuff. Really not into too much tempo stuff or even really too much worried about where the ball is going just yet.
Just movement
priming stuff is really what I want to do for the first little while. So smart balls is brilliant. So I just want to kind of prime a couple of different things. The first one being, like Scott talked about, so, take away, get that lead arm above, the kind of left pec.
Right. So the lead arm's a little high.
Yeah.
There.
So we're working on sort of that, and then in transition, we drop it to the lower part of the pec.
Yep.
And what that does is it incentivizes the pivot. So it basically, if you can put the golf club in a certain position, your body will react accordingly. When I had the club coming out that way, I can't pivot or turn from that standpoint. I'm going right over the top of the ball.
Good point.
Right? So for me, my golf club was not in the right place for me to do the right necessary things to hit stable shots and stabilize the club face. So by putting the arms a little bit deeper, and that lead arm at the kind of in line with the bottom of the left pec.
Yes.
From that standpoint, I can really do nothing else. I can't do anything other than turn onto it from there.
To get to the ball, that's really the only course of action.
That's exactly it. And that's, when you hear about people shallow, and really that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stabilize the rotation of their movement, and they're trying to ultimately stabilize the club face.
Club face, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, very nice.
So just kind of helps me couple it all together. You know, I'll start taking a little early look at some of the delivery metrics, Matty, making sure that dynamic lie angle is fairly close to level.
So you're basically 0 there.
Yep.
Very nice. Did you used to fight it from about, you know, 2-3 down kind of thing?
I mean, I would say 8 times, to be honest.
Worse?
Probably more like, 4 or 5 for sure. So lead arm works high.
Yeah, you can actually see it very well from the face on. I can see how your lead arm is moving a little up in the backswing and then starting to fall nicely down deeper in the downswing. Right.
And that's where, if I kind of quickly transition over into this guy, that's where, again, from a priming perspective, this is called, this is a slingshot. There's loads of different ones. So basically what this has in it, if I kind of screw this off, there's lots of different kind of weighted devices, but it's actually got some little weights in there as well.
Okay.
So I kind of load up the top half because what I want to feel is, I really want to feel heavy.
Yeah.
And like I always say to people in the club fitting, when you're working on timing, you need to feel something. And the two things you normally feel if you're working on timing is you try and get a shaft that you can feel load, and I've got that with this pipe piece.
Very flexible.
Yeah, and the other part is weight. So weight and flexible are the two things. If you're struggling with timing and your set, you might want to look at how stiff your clubs are, and you might want to look at how light your clubs are.
Makes sense.
Right, and I kind of do that with this. So I'll start with a little priming with this also. So
and
just
you keep the smart ball going at the same time?
Yeah, it just keeps me kind of connected again. Just once I take it off, I feel like I've got a real good feel for you know, what the arms need to be doing. So this helps me engage a little bit more of the big muscles in the takeaway.
Yeah, because it's heavy.
Yep. And then obviously because of the weight of it, you can see how much that's kind of bending around there.
Yes.
You know, it's quite easy for me then to feel like the arms get behind, and then it incentivizes that pivot.
Very nice.
Right, so we're trying to get it up and around.
And how many swings would you make to warm up, like 15, 20?
Yeah, I would say I kind of like 20 reps when it comes to the priming part of it.
Yep.
By then I feel like I've ingrained a nice kind of movement and a nice kind of rhythm to it, and I'm ready to kind of start hitting some balls without those things on it. So I don't feel tethered to them, like my whole practice day is tethered to training aids.
Yeah, that's just kind of how you warm into the session.
Yeah, that's it. It just kind of gives me, okay, reminder, here's the movements. Let's put some heavier, you know, clubs so your body kind of wakens up to those patterns, and then we get to the reps.
Okay, well, why don't we start hitting some?
Quite a common one for me right now is that one. So I'd say the miss looks like a bit of a block to the right.
Okay.
It's
which
really
will be the opposite of. So my miss is kind of a pull, but Scott said that to you, right? Like the block will be the one that you kind of miss with.
Totally. So for me, if I get the club in the right position, and I know I did there because I got all my boxes ticked. So I was 4 degrees down, 2 degrees in, 2 out, and I was pretty much level on the dynamic lie angle. That to me tells me I didn't rotate fast enough. The club was in the exact position it needed to be.
Yes.
I just didn't get open enough.
Right. To see that toe sit up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of a little indicator that I just need to rotate a little bit faster. So that to me is kind of
feel good.
Yeah. So a little bit more toe down, and I was saying that to you. When I can add some speed, I'm still a little bit toe down.
Yep. So you mentioned to me your sort of drill swing. You can get the toe level or slightly toe up easier.
Yeah.
But that's true. I think that's important for everyone to remember is that if you're working on something, partial speed, you'll be able to execute it quite a bit better.
Totally.
And it takes time. But just eventually, you're just going to ramp your speed up over the course of weeks and months.
Yeah.
And then that won't be such a factor anymore. That's a nice pace there. How'd that one feel?
Not bad.
Good swing there. That looked great.
Yeah, that was a better one for sure.
Nice rep. Yeah.
Yeah. I was getting a little bit more in the pace I've been trying to get to. probably a little better in dynamic lie angle.
So you're dead on. That's perfect. Your 0.1 toe up, which is essentially 0.
Yeah.
4 down, 2 to 3 and out is great.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice. You can definitely see the motion of that lead arm. It's almost easier to see from face on.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See the rise and fall of it a little bit?
Yeah.
Good.
It's a little bit easier for me to see from face on. Yeah, just a little bit more of a chippy one.
Yeah, so rather than being 2 down, I'll try and get it 2 degrees upright for maybe 3 or 4 swings.
Yep, which you've done there. Good one there.
So just prime those back in. Go back to that nice speed.
Nice.
So that's really the routine, Matty. That's kind of where I'm at right now in terms of what I'm thinking about, and kind of the majority of the reps are based on doing a lot of this right now.
All right.
Tag in.
Tag in.
Let's do it. All right, Matty boy. So you've been working really hard at it. You've been in most days, almost every day, really.
6 or 7 days a week, I usually hit 150 to 200 balls. 50 of them are 50-yard shots, which I start with.
Yep.
Just to really ingrain the first motion and the first transition motion.
So those are your more deliberate reps.
They're very deliberate, and that's why I pick a really short yardage, just because I don't have the pressure of trying to carry a green or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, I've been in quite a bit practicing, and definitely I can notice a difference in how the backswing looks.
Good.
Downswing has been a little bit more challenging, getting the transition right, because my arms, as we discussed, so I mean, like this part.
Yeah. So the bicep curl in the left
bicep
arm.
curl here.
Yeah.
So getting these arms in this position, I'm really starting to be able to do that pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's once I get there, my arms still kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's, for me, I really have to ingrain the first motion, which we'll talk about once I hit a couple shots.
Right.
I really have to start ingraining that first motion, which is going to help my left elbow maintain a little bit of bend through the strike, which keeps the face kind of very square.
Right.
And keeps the path pretty neutral and stuff like that.
Got it. Okay. So what would you say right now in terms of success and your kind of ability to kind of complete a successful rep? Where are you at right now?
With wedges, so like a pitching wedge and lighter, I feel I can complete a pretty successful rep with a full swing without stopping quite well.
Yeah.
Once I get to like the 7-iron, I find I'm doing a lot of stop motion reps. So I'm kind of up to the top, check that everything's feeling good, then that's how I get a really good rep with the mid-iron. Now, it doesn't mean I don't get any good reps with the 7-iron, but I do, you'll see it, I do hit a lot of pulls, and that's just the overactive arms that I've always had, and they just haven't been trained, that motion hasn't been trained out yet. Like Scott told me, kind of just trying to get this elbow a little bit more pointed this way, so that it primes me here. So one big thing that I've done, actually, you know what, let's do this before we even start. If you follow me over to the resistance band spot here.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is one that, and you had told me you were doing a lot of resistance band work.
Yep.
So it kind of inspired me to say, like, oh, maybe I'll try this for myself. So essentially my issue is an elbow that travels out and in. So what I'm doing is tons of pull from the resistance band is basically making that motion easy. It would be easy for me to let that happen.
Yep.
Before I hit balls or after I've hit a couple balls, I sneak over here and do a few reps where I just feel first motion is my left elbow starting to bend as I turn, and then up to the top I really just feel bicep curl.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of resistance coming from that band because the band wants to pull me back that way.
Totally.
Which is the opposite of what I want. And you can see how much that's what Scott was looking for. Yeah. This kind of motion. And then I'll usually give it a few of these, kind of just feeling the motion through. Yep.
Because and people say, oh, that looks like you're kind of moving over the top. The club, you were dropping too much underneath.
Oh, I was dropping like that.
Yeah, it's so shallow, and yeah, we can have the complete opposite problem.
Yeah, so up to here, I feel a ton of resistance. It's kind of actually a bit of a workout for the left arm, for sure. But it kind of trains the left arm to do something that it's never really done. it would want to do that
Yep.
in the past. And now with that resistance band, just like you prime yourself with that slingshot drill, this primes me to get ready to flex this arm versus extend it. And that's basically how I start.
Love it.
And then I'll come in and do some wedges and sometimes go back and forth. But that drill there is actually, it's pretty tiring, so I don't do a ton of them, but I'll do it at home. Like I do that at home a few times a night, do a little workout just to feel that motion. So that one felt decent. Because what I'm finding is when I get to a longer club, I don't make that transition move as pronounced. I almost like chicken out on it. It's hard to explain.
Right.
But at this speed, at this distance, it's really easy to exaggerate the hell out of that. That's why I start with this, and then I hope that it kind of bleeds into a full wedge and then into a 7-iron.
Love it.
I know I hit that way too hard, but a good rep.
That was nice.
Felt pretty good.
Oh.
Start it. I probably hit some wedges first, but I eventually do the bulk of the training with a 7-iron, same as you would do. Fully dotted up, kind of to get all the metrics and stuff. I would start with kind of the drill that you would have seen Scott do with me initially, where it's kind of up to the top, literally watching to make sure that that's in a good spot.
Yep.
And then from there, look back at the ball, one pump, and hit.
Yep.
So that's a fluid motion. Well, that'd be a good rep. I didn't strike it very well, but I know the motion was pretty good.
Your face control was excellent. And are you, sort of, I've got some metrics around the delivery that I'm focused on. Do you have any of that sort of stuff, or are you just kind of more just making, or just trying to be aware of what it is?
I'm trying to be, I know I've made a better rep when the path is neutral.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm seeing is a very steep angle of attack, which I need to ask Scott about on our next lesson. I'm very steep with all the irons and wedges, like 7 or 8 down. So not entirely sure what's causing that. I'm sure he'll have a solution. But for now, no. I mostly just make sure if I'm, inside 3 degrees into out, then I know I've probably made a pretty good rotational motion. That's a good one. So that would be a pretty good drill.
So you're going, you're just some pretty decent speed going into these. The face is definitely not flipping over and shutting down. 92 miles an hour on a 7-iron swing on a rep.
On a rep. Some of the reps I can get up to like 95. Because it's the sequence of it. I'll do one more. It really just, I think, the more I exaggerate that first motion, the more speed comes out of it kind of naturally.
Yeah, that looked strong.
So like a 93. So that's a good example of a really good drill swing. At least 2 out of 10 shots when I'm practicing, I'll do like that. That's kind of my standard thing. So a little bit out to him, which is great. As you said, good to see club head speed and spin and stuff on the ball. So that's the miss that Scott talked about. It's not a horrible miss, but he said you'll hit some pulse. And that's basically, this is all good. This is okay, but then we start to kind of go, which is my old motion where I would just kind of throw the arms at it a bit.
It's close.
It's close. It's consistent.
Yeah.
There. So that's a good rep. That's a good like full swing, no stopping at the top. I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's looking very neutral in terms of the measurement of the club mass, the center of the mass. The strike is really centered, which is excellent.
It's better. So as I was just saying to you off camera there, like I was living in the heel big time.
Yeah.
I was actually shanking some shots when Scott was here. So it's definitely come a long way.
Right. Excellent. Well, guys, that is where we are at. That's the 2-week update. The next time we will be giving you guys an update will be from Florida. Once we're down there, we'll film our little outdoor update once we've got some air around the legs and we've got the ball literally in the air.
Yes, literally in actual air. Yep.
So we'll give you guys a little idea. Like Matty said, probably the best place to check in with these on the regular would be on our Instagram.
More daily kind of stuff.
Exactly. We do post a few times a week on that sort of stuff. Probably hang fire till we get down there, till we do any kind of like club, what's in the bag for right now.
Yeah,
stuff.
I could show you what's for now,
What's
for sure.
for now,
You could
yeah.
probably do that too.
I'm fairly close, yeah. I think I've been working on it last week, and I think in my mind I've got 14 clubs identified as
Nice.
the way I'm going to kind of start the year. So I think maybe once we get down there, we can do a little equipment review as well.
Sounds good.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.